Tip 1. Steam eggs using a sieve. If you have cracked eggs, don't rush to boil them. When you boil them directly in boiling water, the egg white can easily leak out through the cracks, causing the eggs to become deformed. Instead, try steaming them using a sturdy stainless steel sieve to keep the eggs from breaking apart. First, prepare a pot of water. Then, place a stainless steel sieve with high sides securely over the mouth of the pot. Gently place the cracked egg's shell removed. Wait, no, actually, the eggs with shells, but cracked, onto the sieve. Turn on the stove. Make sure the boiling water only touches the bottom of the sieve so that the steam rises continuously. Steam for 7 to 10 minutes, depending on how well done you want them. Where are you watching this video from? Comment below to let me know. It's so fun to connect with you here. Don't forget to follow me. Tomorrow I'll share even more great tips. When you open the lid and take the eggs out, you'll see that the surface of the eggs remains round, smooth, and perfectly shaped, no deformation like when boiling. This is an effective way to make use of cracked eggs and avoid waste. It's especially great when you need to keep the egg's shape intact to make your dish look more appealing. During the steaming process, the eggs don't come into direct contact with boiling water, so the egg white won't leak out. The hot steam surrounds the eggs, allowing them to cook slowly, evenly, and softly from the outside in. Tip 2. Poach eggs with vinegar. First, pour a small amount of water into a bowl. Then gently crack the egg into the bowl so that the yolk doesn't break. Next, place a pot of water on the stove and heat it until the water is just hot and small bubbles start to form lightly at the bottom of the pot. Do not let it come to a strong boil. If the water boils too vigorously, the egg white can easily become dispersed and lose its shape. When the water reaches this light simmering stage, add a bit of vinegar and stir gently to distribute it evenly. The vinegar helps the egg white coagulate quickly and wrap neatly around the yolk during poaching. Then, carefully pour the egg from the bowl into the pot. It's best to release the egg close to the surface of the water so it doesn't break and maintains a nice round shape. Poach the egg for about 2-3 minutes, depending on how done you want it. Then use a slotted spoon to scoop the egg out and let it drain. With this method, you'll get a poached egg that's soft, smooth, perfectly round, and naturally delicious. Tip 3. Separate egg yolks using the eggshell. Separating egg yolks is actually very simple and requires no special tools at all. You just need to crack the egg in half. Then gently rock the yolk back and forth between the two halves of the eggshell. The egg white will gradually flow down and out, leaving only a perfectly round and intact yolk inside the shell. This method is quick, neat, and helps ensure the yolk stays whole without breaking or mixing with any remaining white. After separating, gently place the yolk onto a bed of breadcrumbs. The breadcrumbs will absorb excess moisture and help the yolk hold its nice rounded shape better. Finally, fry it over medium heat so the outside of the yolk firms up slightly, while the inside remains rich, creamy, and runny, creating a simple yet appealing dish that's perfect served with bread or as a beautiful highlight for your meal. Tip 4. Peel boiled eggs using a container. If you boil a lot of eggs but dread the peeling step the most, this little trick will definitely be very helpful. After the eggs are boiled and have cooled down, place them into a container with a tight-fitting lid. Then shake it gently a few times. At this point, the eggshells will crack and separate from the egg white, making peeling much quicker and easier. Once the eggs are cleanly peeled, instead of using a knife, you can use a thin piece of string or thread to slice them. Simply loop the string around the egg, cross the two ends, and gently pull to tighten. It will cut the egg neatly with a smooth, clean surface and without breaking the yolk. With this simple trick, preparing boiled eggs becomes much faster, neater, and more visually appealing. Tip 5. Make noodles from egg yolks. If you've never heard of egg yolk noodles, this is going to be a fun and interesting experience worth trying. The method is very simple. First, prepare a clean and dry syringe. Gently draw the egg yolk into the syringe, sucking slowly to avoid creating air bubbles. Next, bring a pot of water to a gentle simmer over low heat, just enough for the surface to ripple slightly. Do not let it come to a rolling boil, as too high a temperature will cause the yolk strands to break apart. When the water reaches the right temperature, slowly and evenly squeeze the syringe so the egg yolk flows out in a thin stream directly into the pot. In just 1 to 2 minutes, the heat will set the yolk, forming delicate, bright yellow noodle-like strands that are slightly curly and very appealing. Once scooped out, these egg yolk noodles are soft, rich, slightly chewy, and have a distinctive, delicious aroma. Kids especially love these mini noodles because they look cute and are easy to eat. Egg yolk noodles are nutritious, suitable for both children and adults, and make any meal more appetizing and enjoyable. Tip 6. Steamed eggs on a plate. Simply place 3 plates inside a pan in a cross shape to create a small makeshift stand, ensuring the plate with the eggs doesn't touch the bottom of the pan directly. Brush a thin layer of butter onto the surface of the plate so the eggs won't stick and will have a richer, more fragrant flavor when cooked. Then place the plate on top of the stand. Crack 1 or more eggs onto the plate. Add just enough water to the pan. Cover with a lid and let the steam cook the eggs. In just about 2 minutes, the egg whites will set, while the yolks remain soft, smooth, rich, and creamy. This trick is perfect for when you want to enjoy sunny side-up style eggs without using any oil or frying. It's a light, simple dish that goes wonderfully with a hot cup of tea, especially on those days when you don't have a kettle ready or just want something gentle and easy. Tip 7. Check the freshness of eggs. You don't need to crack the egg into a bowl to know whether it's still fresh or not. With just flashlight, you can check it very quickly and accurately. First, turn on the flashlight and hold the egg in your hand. Shine the light straight through the shell. Observe the inside of the egg. A fresh egg typically has a round yolk positioned right in the center, with thick and uniform egg white and almost no large air pocket. In contrast, an older egg will have a flatter yolk that moves around easily, thinner, and more watery egg white, and a noticeably large air pocket at the top, blunt end of the egg. With just these small but very practical tips, those familiar eggs in your kitchen can become so much easier to handle, tastier, and way more fun. Now it's your turn. Which tip do you like the most out of all these? Please leave a comment and share with everyone. If you found them helpful, don't forget to give a like, save them for later use, and share with your family and friends. Let's keep learning more great kitchen tips every day and turn cooking into a real joy.